Key skills required to work in HR or human resource. There are several skills crucial to human resource management, which can include the following. Organizational skills. It implies that the ability to organize and multitask is required. An HR manager must handle files or working continuously in many business units. It's true. Organizational skills is important, so because you have to multitask. Say, for example, you have to interview someone, prepare for the licenses or prepare for the documents, check the health insurance date if they're gonna expire, check if you still have necessary trainings, if there are some partnership. So you have to have organizational skills, like a calendar. You have to prepare that in the calendar or like a planner. You have to know what you're gonna do from the start of your work. If you're starting your work at 8 o'clock in the morning, what do you need to accomplish at 10 a.m., lunch break at 12, you come back at 1. What are the things that you're gonna do at 2 o'clock until the end of the day? You have to have that planned. It's important that you also have um, a set things to do for the day, for the whole week, if it's available. Because as HR manager or HR associate, you will be tasked in meetings. You will be given tasks to meet some people. So how are you going to do that? You also have to know how to dress properly. Do you know how to tie your necktie? Yes. Do you know how to wear, the proper black shoes? You gonna, like leather shoes. It's like social orientation. You have to have awareness with that as well, because in the human resource department, um, you are the team that manages people. Second, communication skills. Critical and creative thinking and writing are abilities that will aid the HR manager. I'm sorry, are necessary for HRM as well. The ability to present negative and positive news, work with various personalities, and coach employees are essential in HRM. That's true. Communication. Bear in mind that communications mean that there's understanding between you and the person that you're talking to. If you gave an instruction to an employee, if that person understood, then that's clear and effective communication. Because that person might probably just heard you, but not literally or listening to you. There's no understanding. So it's important that there's understanding between you, the person that you're talking to. Yeah? It says here, negative and positive news. We move on to critical thinking skills. If you are part of the HR department, critical and creative thinking and writing are abilities that will aid the HR manager. One of the primary duties of an HR department is to connect the HR strategic plan with the strategic business planning. Critical thinking skills. Earlier, I gave you just sample with that. There are, when you are in the HR department, it's wide. There are so many situations that might come along the way. But if you know the rules, the company handbook, that means if someone might request some procedures, if it's not allowed, you can go back to your company handbook. You do that onboarding. That's the importance on onboarding. From the beginning, you set their expectation that are the things that they can and cannot do. Your critical thinking skills there is how are you gonna apply or make your employees follow the rules, right? It says on the company handbook that you are not allowed to have relationship within the company. You happen to see someone that are being romantically um, linked. What could be your action there? They are your friends. So that will be a different factor. So you being part of the HR department, how are you going to deliver that to your friends? There's a situation. Critical thinking skills, as I said, also entails or includes the prioritization of tasks or the matters in the HR department. If one problem is greater than the other one, or the solution might probably can wait, then you might want to pause that, set that aside for the meantime, and focus on the bigger problem. Critical skill, critical thinking skills involves that. Know your priority. Specific job skills, computer skills, knowledge of employment legislation, writing and establishing strategic plans, and general creative thinking skills are essential in the any management position, notably in human resource management. Furthermore, a strong sense of fairness and ethics will be the ideal HR manager because HR collaborates with various departments to manage conflict and negotiate union contracts and salaries. The HR professional must have a strong understanding of business ethics and ability to maintain confidentiality. We did that. That's the reason why it's good that you chose to have MSO, Microsoft Office skills. That's important in the job. So you can create certain letters, recommendation, salary certificate, training certificates, contracts. So you're gonna use Microsoft Office for that. Mhm. And of course, the knowledge about labor law. Yeah. Appraisals as well. You know, it's your job for the evaluation in the HR department of how much appraisal they can get. What is appraisal? Salary increment. Yes. If you have completed your contract for 2 years, you have that employee, and that employee is requesting for salary increment, like salary, um, an additional salary. So you can do that. Yes. Evaluate. You will check the attendance of this person. Of course, there's always the approval. It depends on who approves it. You can say that this employee, one, has minimal absenteeism, good performance, no complaints, and we need to retain them. We can probably offer this amount of percentage for the increment. That could be that's part of your job. It will request how much are you gonna make. And of course, there are certain approvals. There are certain companies, bigger companies, that's automatic. Like every year they would have some increment, but not all. Today's HRM challenges. The following are some of the significant problems that HRM experts face in today's business world. There are many contemporary challenges associated with HRM. Read that for me, continue. First, page 14. Yeah, read it for me.
The following some of these significant problems that HR management experts face in today's business world. There are many contemporary challenges associated with HR management. First, it is up to everyone in the organization to contain costs. HR managers must examine their specific departments and illustrate the importance and usefulness of their functions to organizations. HR managers can also help cut costs by controlling beneficiary programs and salaries and offering training. The rapidly changing nature of technology is also a challenge in human resource management. As new technologies are created, workers will be able to apply creative working arrangements like let's sign. HR managers are also responsible for developing policies dealing with cyber cyberbullying and other workplace time masters evolving around technology. Employee stress and lack of work-life balance are also greatly influenced by technology. The human resource manager can effectively prepare for staffing cutbacks and additional by being aware of the state of economy. The engaging and changing workforce is another potential challenge facing HR. As baby boomers retire, there will likely be few people to replace them, and many of the talents they possess may be lost. Furthermore, working simultaneously with multiple generations might provide difficulty because multi-generational workforces have diverse expectations and needs.
All right. What does cyber loafing means? That means the employee is using their time to non-work related to not work related um, activities. Like they're at work, but they're just using TikTok, or they're using the company's Wi-Fi for personal use, video calling probably. So that's something that you have to avoid. Some of the companies will not allow you to connect to the company's Wi-Fi because they would only require that you use the internet for work-related activities, right? It says here that you in the HR um, has to work simultaneous with multi-generational, the generational gap. Um, we need to understand which generations. Mhm. All right. So it says here, I'll share to you. People born between 1946 to 1964, they are the baby boomers. Generation X are born from 1965 to 1979. Generation Y are born 1980 to 1994. Millennial, I'm part of this generation actually, Generation Y. We're called millennial. These generations are, I mean, people in this bracket are already managers, business owners, operations managers. So their take on leadership or management could be different. It says they're baby boomers. These people could be your parents. How old are you? Which year are you born? You're born 1998. So you're a Gen Z. Yes, you were born probably when there's already technology. The access to information is already easy. You're 1998, right? When you go to primary school, you already have mobile gadgets. During my generation, I only got to have my first phone when I was in year six, grade six. Yes, and those are analogs. During your time, um, was it already touchscreen? Your first phone, would you still remember?
Yeah, my phone was not just screen, it was Nokia.
Yes.
Nokia touch.
Uh-huh.
We used the touch. Don't know if we
But yes, but your generation, the Gen Z, it became easier for you already because when you reach your middle school,
was using touch.
yes, your access to information is a lot easier already. Unlike during our time, we still have to use the traditional library, books, magazine, physical copies of resources. That's how we do our research. For your generation, it was easier already because you can easily ask Google and then get that information. So these people, the generation, that means they have different take when it comes to management. My take as a millennial in because we're between, the old stuff and then the new technology that we're happening right now. So we get to experience both generations. And imagine how are you gonna share your management style in this kind of generation. Let me share. All right. Okay, let's continue. Page 15. Role of communication in HR management. Our communication styles can influence how successfully we communicate with others. Earlier, I told you when you are understood by the person that you're talking to, then that means you have communication, clear communication, effective communication. If there's a follow through, if that person received the instructions and they were able to do what you were saying, then that's an effective communication. Communication plays an essential role in HR management. However, mind that no one person always has one style. Depending on the situation, we can adapt our style. The better we communicate, the better we grasp our dominant communication style and styles of others. Thus, strong communication skills are invaluable for those working in HR profession. I must say that you should be able to be understood by your employees if you're in the HR department. If you give a memo, a memo is being done in the HR department. You have to send that through email. What could be the content of your memo? That's that is actually how you do your communication. Memo can include that there will be no work during the Eid holidays. That could be a memo. You will create a memo that the working hours for Ramadan is only until this time. What about the people working at night? So you can create a memo for that as well. And then you would always ask the employees to reply to your email. That's also your task. That's why we're learning MSO. Okay, you can also create a memo that there will be no work. That will be the working hours for Ramadan will be 2 shifts. People be working from 5 to 2 and then 2 to 11. Or there will be some break. But there will be only 6 hours of working, or maybe it could be 3 shifts. 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Could be 3 shifts. So you in the HR department will talk about that. There should be people working until 11 if you're in the office. There should be people working during your working hours because it depends on your operations. Because it's Ramadan timing, you will create a memo for that. In the law, it says that people, private sector, have the liberty to create their working hours. Ideally, 6 hours only. So you will create a memo for that. Ask the employees to sign that they agree, or probably reply in the email if they would agree on your memo or to the rule of the company. Because people still would want to, somehow relax during the Ramadan. And you were given the opportunity to only work 6 hours. It's shortened period, right? But it still depends on the exactly industry. Salon, do you think they would have like shortened period? Restaurant, offices might have that, yes. Insurance company, um, uh, construction company, yeah, in the main office, they can have that. So you will create a memo and then ask through email. That's why there's company email. I would require you to reply in this email that you understood the memo. So later on, when you come back, see, you replied this that you understood in the email, but you still um, work only for 4 hours. What's the problem? What's the matter? There should always be a confirmation. Yes. Give. There are 4 main types of communication. Expressor. Read this for me.
There are 4 main types of give below. Number 1, people with an expressive communication style tend to get excited. They like challenges and rely heavily on hunches and feelings, depending on the type of business. This can be a downfall as sometimes hard data should be used for decision-making purposes. These individuals are easily identified because they dislike lengthy information or dry explanation and become agitated if they believe their time is being wasted.